welcome to this video on School AI. If you haven't watched the previous video on School AI where we go through some of the basics, then I'd suggest you do that. We're going to have a quick look at some of the other features of School AI outside of the spaces, which I feel it kind of does a really good job of. But it's also got all of these tools. So we're not going to cover too much here because there are a number of different platforms that have fairly similar tools, which we'll explore a little bit more. But as you can see, the tools here, clicking on that, we've actually got like quite a decent spread of different tools. So I really like the jokes option here. If I wanted to generate here, I can select for my grades, and I might want to say make them psychology related, as that's the subject that I'm teaching, and we can click generate. And you can see it opens this up in not a chat format now, but we've got a document format, and it's given us 3 jokes. So why did the psychologist bring a pencil and a notepad to the art class? Because they wanted to draw some conclusions. So obviously, yeah, very cheesy, but a good way to grab some jokes to entertain the class fairly quickly. If we go back and have a look at some of these probably slightly more useful tools, then the standard like lesson plan generator, if we click generate here, so I'm just going to say the water cycle, which is what their pre-defaulted is, the grade, and again like focus on evaporation. Now if we wanted to bring in Common Core standards here, these are US based, but certainly could look at that. Generate, and you can see it gives us a nicely formatted lesson plan. We've got our lesson objectives, we've got what we're going to need, and then we've got lesson activities here as well. So again, fairly standard, to be honest. I mean, ChatGPT does this as well out of the box, but you know, it's nice for fairly quick lesson planning ideas. If I wanted to regenerate, I could absolutely do that, and obviously I could you know, provide more detail as well. If I wanted to specify that it's more of a practical lesson or a theory lesson, then I'd certainly add this detail in here. If I wanted to share, then that copies a link and I can share this directly. I've also got the option, if I highlight, then I can do some different things with it here. So let's say my lesson objectives might be a little bit complicated. I'm going to click simplify, and there we go. We've got a poorly formatted but simplified version of what we just saw there. So certainly a few things here which are really interesting. If we go back to tools, might have a look at one more. There are you know, you do have the option to build your own as well, providing you put in the instructions. But we might have a look at, like, I don't know, let's have a look at a IEP, so an individualized education program. We might say our 3rd grade here, and we might say learning disability. And then this is obviously where you would put in your details of the student that you're describing. So student is positional and has trouble focusing in class, doesn't like to be told what to do. I'm just making this up on the spot, obviously. Generate. And here, so obviously this is only going to be as good as the information that you put in. The AI has, you know, really just made up a lot of this stuff based off the sentence that I put in. So take it with a grain of salt. Obviously you can edit this in any way you want, but you know, as a starting point, if you really sort of don't know where to start with some of these things, it can be good to kind of, you know, give you a platform or help you, you know, with some ideas too. So you can click export if you wanted. save it as a PDF, and it's nice and easy, as well as all the standard editing tools you've got here too. And as I showed you before, you do have some AI tools that can change the tone even. There's a few different things there. So that's some of the tools of School AI. As I said, I'm not going to go through in too much detail because there are other platforms that do this really well, and I'd say potentially do it a little bit better. For me, School AI is great using the spaces, and a great alternative to ChatGPT to introduce in the classroom, so you don't have to go through parental consent or students having to sign up through ChatGPT. This is a little bit easier to kind of introduce them to that AI chat function. So that's it for School AI. Thank you for watching.